The agenda of the pre-conference is to promote the inclusion of the youth in decision-making, more in particular in projects that have a direct impact on them and future generations. Speaking during the conference, Principal Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs, Dr. Francis Otieno, outlined the government's plan to support the youth in the maritime sector.
We'll continue to develop and build capacity for the youth in the maritime sector. This entails educating and motivating the youth to get into the study of maritime domain that in turn will ultimately increase the output value of the industry. The government will further foster development of partnerships to facilitate capacity building of youth and financing youth innovations / enterprises for economic purposes and sustainable management of these water bodies resources.
Thank you so much, Sid. Let's give Sid
Sid Chatterjee, United Nations Resident Coordinator, spoke on the transformational benefits that the country and region will reap from the blue economy.
Take reason number one, the signing of the free trade agreement which happened in Rwanda. Most of you are aware. The African Union came together. Some countries have opted in, some countries have opted out, but gradually Africa is going to be the future European Union model, and that's what this whole free trade agreement is premised on, which means the free movement of goods, services and people. For the free movement of goods, services and people, you need ports, and that is how ships or goods and supplies will come to these ports. Now then you need the infrastructure to take these goods and supplies from the ports to the cities, and it's not just Nairobi, but to Rwanda and to Ethiopia and to many other parts which are landlocked. So the landlocked countries also have a stake in a blue economy. It's about the rivers, it's about the lakes, it's all about the lake, Lake Victoria, which goes all the way through Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda, totally unexploited. It's about the offshore and onshore potential of fisheries, of sericulture, of aquaculture. With the level of contamination and pollution that we are seeing in the oceans, this is the time for the blue economy to look at not just conservation of the oceans, but the potential of transforming those oceans. But clearly, we also need to have sericulture and aquaculture which is on land. Because of the level of pollution, you probably have to go a lot of the fish and fish stock on land. So it's just unparalleled. It is the sky is the limit, and if people consider the sky the limit, then they are still being modest in their aspirations.
Easy organizing and trying to...
On the opportunities that the youth can benefit from, he had this to say.
It's a juggernaut which is being unleashed, ladies and gentlemen, and you're a part of that. Because the young people are needed for everything from ports to offshore to sericulture to aquaculture to agriculture. That's where the largest employment opportunities are going to be. That is where the largest opportunities for entrepreneurship is going to be. Foreign Affairs, Rafael Banyo.
The representative of Ambassador Monica Juma, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador E.M. Barin, stated why His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta's nomination by the United Nations as the global champion for youth empowerment mattered.
During his tours around the country, his biggest agenda is how do we begin to work and move the youth from where we are, for reasons that the challenges that we are faced today need some very extraordinary thinking and extraordinary action to be able to bring the youth to take their rightful space in the global economy.
The outcomes of the pre-conference will see the development of a position paper on youth initiatives and work in the blue economy for conservation and livelihoods, which shall then be presented to the Sustainable Blue Economy Conference Secretariat and other stakeholders. Reporting for Brown Plus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
And they are